Hello YouTube, what is going on? This is the first of two videos today. I would do 2K gameplays, but the game is kind of dead at this point. I'm not really getting views on those videos, and plus Uzi's dropping tonight, so I don't really want to be grinding the fuck out of videos. I also, at 2 o'clock, need to buy these fucking LaMelo shoes, like 3.5 hours from now. But we are a little over 12 hours out from the new Uzi album dropping. So fucking hyped for that. I'll be dropping a video tomorrow and Saturday. Yeah. I'll probably edit both videos tomorrow, or try to. One of them will be released tomorrow, one of them Saturday, so yeah. We might do some 2K gameplays in between. I don't know. I have a decent amount of time to do shit around here, so I don't have work for the next 2 days. But here we are, the second episode of the Black Mirror series. Obviously highly critically acclaimed series. I had to check this out. As a movie, TV show watcher, this is a big thing for like Netflix culture at least. And I mean, a lot of shock value, a lot of crazy like storylines. There's not really a normal Black Mirror episode. That's kind of like the point of the show, is to just have some twisted ass shit on there. But we'll get into the plot and the critical reception. This is like a little over an hour long, which is like 15 minutes longer than the first one, but it was all worth it. So being Madsen, played by the wonderful Daniel Kaluuya, great actor, one of the best actors of the last couple of years. Ever since his debut, pretty much, with Get Out. Maybe before that, I don't know. Get Out was the first big movie I saw him in. And obviously he was in Nope as well. So him and Jordan Peele, great horror director in my opinion, are on good terms. So being Madsen lives in a room surrounded by screens that wake him up, serve as a video game console, and feature regular adverts. So this is kind of like a futuristic, maybe like a mockery. It's almost like a mockery of what the future is going to look like. And this episode was made... When was this made? 2011. I did not realize this show was this old. Okay, so Kaluuya's debut was around this time, maybe. I did not know Black Mirror was this fucking old. I think it just now got put on Netflix, honestly. I could be wrong and like retarded, but he rides on a stationary bike to generate electricity in exchange for merits, which he needs to pay for his daily cost of living. He sits next to Dustin, played by Paul Popplewell, an obnoxious man who degrades the overweight cleaners as they pass and watches pornography as he cycles. So this is like a very obnoxious person. Daniel Kaluuya is his character is like a very like out of the way guy, and then you have this guy over here watching porn, like laughing hysterically at fat bitches. I don't know. Overhearing Abby Can, played by Jessica Brown Findlay, singing in the toilets, Bean convinces her to enter Hotshot, a virtual talent show whose winners can live a life of luxury. So if you win, you pretty much get like free of life from this like fucking imprisonment, pretty much. It's like a damn concentration camp. All they do is wake up, go fucking biking, go eat some meals, and then come back and like watch their fucking screens. It's such a depressing lifestyle. But if you win on Hotshot, like you kind of get out of it. He offers to buy her entry ticket, having inherited millions of merits from his deceased brother, which, then again, it's still not that many merits that he has, really. The ticket costs more merits than he thought, 15 million, almost his entire savings, but he buys it, and he, like, kind of, like, falls in love with this girl, like, instantly. They kind of have this relationship sort of thing. Bing goes with Abby to the audition, and she gives him an origami penguin. She makes like origamis. That's like her thing, I guess. Abby is made to drink a carton of compliance, which is like kind of a homophone for like compliance. That's what I think. Before performing, anyone who knows what love is will understand, by Irma Thomas, for the judges Wraith, Hope, and Charity, played by Ashley Thomas, Rupert Everett, and Julia Davis, respectively. Julia and Ashley? Who the fuck is named Ashley? The black guy's name's Ashley? Okay. Obviously, this came out fucking over 10 years ago, so I'm a little late, okay? You guys are going to leave that in the comments, I have a feeling, but I wanted to watch it anyway. The judges are unimpressed, but Wraith offers a place for Abby on his pornography channel, Wraith Babes. He's like the one that runs like the Wraith Babes that's like running throughout the episode where what's his name? Bingham or whatever, like skips it every time it's on the screen. Like, that's what she gets offered. Despite Bing's protestations from backstage, Abby, succumbing to pressure from the audience and judges, accepts, and I guess that's kind of like a social commentary. She will do anything to get out of that shitty situation. Whilst in his room, Bing sees an advert for Wraith Babes featuring Abby, literally like right after she fucking wins Hot Shot. So it gets crazy. He cannot afford the merits to skip it, and a high-pitched noise sounds when he looks away from the screen, so he must watch. He's forced to watch this girl he loves become a porn star, and it's like a really fucked up, it's a fucked up story, but yeah. Increasingly agitated, he smashes a screen out of frustration and then hides a shard of glass under his bed. Now, I'm not really sure if there's really repercussions for breaking your screen. I guess it's kind of your shit, so if you break it, it's your fault, I guess. Bing then becomes single-mindedly obsessed with cycling and becomes being as frugal as possible. And obviously he has that twist. Or well, not a twist. What the hell am I talking about? He has that trick where he goes to the vending machine and they pick the pair or whatever, and it doesn't fall right away. So he goes over when they leave and presses the lever, and he gets a free pair. He pretty much gets two because they try it multiple times and shit. He buys a hotshot ticket and hides the shard of glass in his trousers, maybe making that a part of his act. I'm not really sure. We didn't know at the time. We didn't know he was going to bring this out and fucking threaten to kill himself. On stage, he starts performing a dance number, then pulls out the shard and threatens to slice his own neck. It's like the shock value set. It's not like he's really talented or anything. He just wants to send a message. Wraith goads him to do it, but the other judges encourage him to speak. They're like, "Oh, please fucking kill yourself," which shows how much the industry cares about the people they work with, I guess. Bing passionately and angrily rants about the heartless artificial system they live under. And I mean, that's even a comment for 2011, because at that time, cell phones were starting to become a huge thing, and people wouldn't stay the fuck off them, texting each other. Obviously, social media wasn't huge, but we still had YouTube, I believe, Facebook, maybe even MySpace. So this was a time where people were becoming obsessive. So that's kind of the context. Obviously it's a little outdated now, but this show came out 12 years ago. Hope declares the speech the most heartfelt in hotshot history and offers Bing his own regular show on one of his channels. He's not working for anyone. He has his own fucking thing. So that's really cool. Bing is shown recording his show where he rants while holding the shard to his neck. It's kind of a dumbass gag to do that every time, but hey, whatever. Despite criticizing the system of his show, he now lives in much larger quarters, and the episode ends with him looking out from his room at what appears to be a vast green forest on it looks like on a damn screen, but maybe they try to fool us. I'm not really sure. In terms of critical reception, pretty talked about. This will be a long review. Pretty good, 100%, 14 reviews, 9.5 out of 10. Combining the worst aspects of reality shows, talent competitions, and a hunger for fame, 15 million merits effectively shows how anything, even our humanity, could be readily exploited. 5 out of 5 on Games Radar, 4 out of 5 on The Telegraph, 3 out of 5 Cult Box, A rating in the AV Club. Compared to the first episode, it is a grander work in every way. It's much better, more artful, moving. Some people found it disappointing compared to the first episode. No, the first episode had a really simple premise, and it didn't really have that many underlying messages to it, if we're being honest. Out of the first 2 seasons, some people say it's the best, so that's kind of a spoiler. Nice. The episode was one of the most beautiful and haunting hours of science fiction television you'll ever see. I don't know about that, but it's really good. Overuses tropes. It's a fairly prosaic story situated in an all too familiar future world. The world building was lacking. It portrays a fully realized future that might not be too far off. I mean, yeah. Maybe 12 years later it doesn't really apply. It was a dazzling piece of science fiction that builds its world out slowly but perfectly. Its moral is more sledgehammer than subtle. The ending was devastating, kind of smart. The show really punched out through the screen in the final scene, with him standing and looking at a forest, but it's on a fucking screen. His acting was great here. His character perhaps too inscrutable. I mean, Daniel Kaluuya, he was fantastic in this episode. It's thought-provoking. The episodes were bleakly funny, profoundly depressing, highly watchable, utterly wretched. It has style, savvy, and lashings of acerbic humor. It's gripping, it's original, it's thoughtful. It's got a slow pace, it's repetitive but utterly compelling. Bing's name not being like said during the first 20 minutes. We didn't even know what the main character's name was until 20 minutes into the episode. That was an interesting one. All the performances are good. Bing is, yeah, I don't know. Obviously the performing on Hot Shot for Bing was like one of the highlights of the episode. It's deliciously evil judges. Judge Hope's a little too shrill. Julia Davis as Judge Charity should have had a larger role. I mean, all the men were taking over, but I think that was kind of the point, right? Like this whole like sexism, like women's rights not being there. Maybe that's like I think that's the point of it, honestly. Abby's storyline was pretty good. Abby and Bing, pretty good. That relationship. It's dubious that Abby would choose a life of televised sex abuse over a life of menial labor. It's realistic. Abby seems blindsided just as the audience is. Abby's story rings chillingly true. It's among the most moving of recent romances. The warmth of the character's romance contrasting with the coldness of the rest of the episode. There's at least some like bright side to the story, them like becoming romantic. The scene in which Abby saw the golden ticket being bought genuinely touching. Holding Abby's hand was a sweet little moment in the episode. Abby gives Being an Origami Penguin was great. Brown Finley's acting was pretty good in this episode. Good production. The episode's visually seamless. The gorgeous visuals. The world is striking to look at and just beautiful as we like go through the show. It's some of the finest production design, music, and acting in a genre television show, like for the time, honestly. There's moving music, and yeah. I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I mean, that was a pretty long review, but it is like an hour-long mini-movie. There's a full fucking thing behind it. There's a lot of reviews. This is a highly critically acclaimed show. I would say it had a decent amount of buzz at the time. Obviously now more than ever, with it like fully transforming into one of the flagship shows on Netflix. But yeah, I don't know if that review is lousy or not. But leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I'm kind of just noting critics on Wikipedia. Sorry, like I have my own thoughts and I kind of agree with them. And when I watch TV, sorry, I just kind of stuttered there. When I watch TV, honestly, like I do zone out at times, but this show I didn't really zone out. Like I found it pretty interesting throughout. So